Hi, good morning, good morning. Hi, you are here with Build with Stacie, where we build real estate and build wealth. Today, you are here to listen to my podcast, and we have a special guest, Brooklyn Brown, a young lady who's already starting her venture in real estate and has been doing big things and making over six figures in real estate. And she's very young, and I'd like to introduce to her when we come up on after this break. Stay tuned and listen in for more. You are building with Stacie.
Save on over 400.
I resolved to call her up 1,000 times a day and ask her if she'll marry me in some old-fashioned way. But my silent fears have gripped me long before I reach the phone, long before my tongue has stripped me. Must I always be alone? Every little thing she does is magic. Every visit can just turn me
Hi, welcome back. You are here, Build with Stacie, where we educate you how to build real estate and build wealth. And I would like to introduce my special guest, the youngest guest that I've ever had. And she started real estate as young as 18. And yeah, right now, Miss Brooklyn, if you would let everyone know how young you are today.
Hello, happy to be here. I'm 20 years old. I started in real estate when I was 18, and I've just been staying consistent with it ever since.
Now, when you started at 18, tell us a little bit about your first experiences as you dibbled and dabbled in the real estate arena.
So when I first started, I didn't know anything at all, and all I knew is I wanted to get a big check, like I was seeing on social media and things like that from other real estate investors. And my first deal, it was like, I would say, one of my worst deals. I had my buyer back out on me on closing day, so it was stressful, and I had to find a new buyer in like 2 days, or I would have completely lost the deal. So, but it's been a lot of ups and downs throughout the past 2 years.
And when you first started, when you say you lost your buyer, was that a buyer for a house or a buyer for a land that you were flipping?
It was a buyer for a house.
And what would you say the dollar amount of that first transaction was that you closed?
My first transaction that I closed, it was $18,000.
That was your profit?
Yep, that's my profit.
Oh, wow. That was pretty good profit for your first deal. And Ms. Brown has, since 18 to now, she's been making six figures in real estate. And, you know, if an 18-year-old can do it, so can anyone. And I pretty much started, too, at that age. Actually, not as young as her. I was in my early 20s when I started. And just, Ms. Brooklyn, just want to share a little bit of your experience. What makes you want to become a builder you know, now that you've already had some experience in what you've done? What makes you want to elevate into becoming a builder?
Well, with me flipping a lot of houses and land, I come across lots, and a lot of builders are coming to me and wanting to buy the land from me. And I went back before and I looked and I saw that this builder had built a house on some land that I sold to him, and it was a super nice house, made a lot of money, and I was like, wow, I'm just kind of leaving money on the table. So that's what really got me to want to start. But ever since I was younger, my dad would take me around neighborhoods in Frisco, and I would see these big houses, and I would always just think to myself, like, I want to design one of those houses or something like that. So I think it's kind of been in me ever since I was probably in middle school.
Oh, wow. So you've always aspired to do it.
Yep.
Are you ready for the workload and the challenges that it takes to becoming a builder?
Yeah, of course.
Now, have you well, let's back up a little bit and let the audience know a little bit about me. I've been building. First, I started off being a lender, mortgage broker, and a full-time real estate investor, just fixing and flipping houses, and that it evolved into doing commercial, multifamily apartment buildings, things of that nature, just on the flipping side. And then when I moved to Texas back in 2000, I started acquiring land and building from the ground up throughout the DFW area. I was as young as Brooklyn at the time, and I actually started buying properties. There were like about $30,000 for a whole acre in Lake Ridge at Joe Poo Lake, for those that are familiar with that area. And back then, those lots were like 30,000. You know, today those same lots for 30,000 are about 150 plus. And so I bought a few lots here and there and started building, at the time, what were called mansions, mini mansions. And I was, like I said, Brooklyn's age. And so that's how I cut my teeth in this business over 20 years ago. Actually, 25 years ago now. I've been doing this for quite a while. And yeah, if you would, Brooklyn, tell the audience a little bit about how you met me and why you decided to have me to mentor you.
Yeah, so I met Stacie through one of my friends that I met in real estate. Her name is Portia. she's helped me a lot throughout my journey, and I told her I wanted to build, and she connected me with Stacie, and that's how I met her, and I got her book, started reading it, taking notes on it. I was on her master class and taking notes, asking questions, and yeah, that's really how we got connected.
Awesome. And ever since she's been through the master class and read up on the book, I have a book out, comprehensive manual on educating anyone that wants to get into the space on how to build from A to Z. And Brooklyn said, yeah, okay, I'm done with this master class. Now I'm ready to jump in and build. And actually, she's actively looking for a lot right now. She wanted to pursue a lot out in, what was it,
Granbury.
Granbury. And we analyzed a lot. I helped her to determine how to figure out if it's a good deal or not deal. Actually, I'm going to let her tell you how she discovered whether it was a good deal or not and where we are today.
Yeah, so I thought that I wanted to build in Granbury. Not saying I might not go back later if I come across a lot of lots where it makes sense, but we Stacie and I sat down, we ran the numbers on it, and just building one house, I didn't think the profit was enough for mistakes, because Stacie was mentioning to me, like, you know, anything could happen, and you don't want to have such a tight profit margin to the point that if one thing happened, your profit is completely gone. So now you're basically just building the house, trying to get it sold and things like that. So I decided not to go with that one, and instead we are now building one in another area in Cleburne, and we're in the beginning stages of that. I'm learning how to bid on, get bids from different contractors, and I'm learning about the blueprints, and I learned about looking at the lot, making sure it has utilities, and how do I find out if the lot has utilities or not, and if it's a good area to build in, and it has the comps in the area to support that. So that's kind of where I'm at right now in the learning process of building.
Absolutely, and she's doing an amazing job. She's definitely a go-getter, self-starter. You tell her to do something, she's right on it, and just like, okay, what's next? So she's really hungry, and I admire that. I took to her the moment I met her. She was just her spirit. She's so ambitious. And so with having said that, we're going to take a quick break and listen to Kate Bush, and we'll be right back to listen to some more of her testimonials.
It doesn't hurt me, yeah, yeah.
Welcome back. You are here with Built with Stacie, and we are going to continue hearing the amazing story of Miss Brooklyn in terms of her first experience in actually getting her first build job started out in Cleburne. So she's going to tell you a little bit about the process that she's learned and what she's actually doing to pursue the next steps into becoming her own builder.
Yeah, so as I was talking about earlier, I was going to do my own project by myself, but I'm very fortunate that Stacie gave me the opportunity to partner with her on a project that she was going to start. And I'm still in the beginning phases of it, getting the contractors, learning the loan side of everything, and getting the permits pulled and things like that. And she's just been walking me through everything, really just holding my hand through all of this. I noticed that the building process really isn't the whole 1, 2, 3 type of thing. It's very detailed and certain steps you have to follow. And she's been there along the way to tell me, do this, do that, do this, do that. And I'm basically building this project in Cleburne on my own, but she's going to be there to watch over and make sure that I'm not making any costly mistakes. So that's kind of where I'm at, and I plan on learning this and applying it to other projects that I want to start.
Absolutely, and she's doing an amazing job. I love to have her as a student. And Miss Brooklyn, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years from now?
In the next 5 years from now, definitely see myself building my own subdivision, and as far as my land business and flipping houses and things like that, I plan to have that on autopilot with people working up under me. And down the line, I definitely want to take on a few people and pass on the knowledge that I've learned, whether that be to my nieces and nephews, and just take care of my family as much as I can and be there for them financially. And also I like that I can be there for them really at any time with what I do. Mm-hmm. I don't have to really go to a job, which I'm fortunate for that too. So that's really where I see myself.
Awesome. And just to educate the audience, how did you start in wanting to flip land? Like, where did that thought come from? And as you started flipping land, how did you go about finding it and getting your customers and things of that nature?
Yeah, so when I first started, I was doing houses, just flipping them. I thought that it was easy, but then as I was going, I was coming across some lots that I didn't know if they were worth anything. I didn't know really what I was doing. And I had got some mentors out in Florida, and they taught me really everything that I know about land. And they walked me through it, and I've been able to make a lot of money from that. As far as finding the land, I was cold calling, texting, things like that to find the land, doing direct mail. I really do a little bit of everything. Starting out, you might find yourself trying to do everything, and that's what I did, just because I was trying to find the one thing that worked. But really everything works. It's just a matter of sticking to it and staying consistent with it. So that's really how I found the land. And as far as finding those buyers for the land, I'm reaching out to real estate agents that have buyers. I'm looking on Facebook, just looking at different LLCs in the area that might have bought land in the last 3 months. So that's really how I'm getting the land and then selling it.
And Miss Brooklyn has a portfolio already, and for those of you that are wanting to get started, you don't necessarily have to have a portfolio or any experience or prior experience in flipping houses or flipping land or anything of the sort. Miss Brooklyn just happened to have a real estate experience by flipping a few houses and a few lots before she came to me, and this is why she knew she wanted to become a builder is because she's already dibbled and dabbled in it. And real estate, it's so lucrative. I mean, you could flip land, you could flip houses, you could build, you could deal with distressed properties. I mean, there's so many different areas you can get into it. And like I said, when I started, I was as young as Miss Brooklyn in my 20s. And my first subdivision, when I first came here, I just started buying individual lots just all over, in Lake Ridge, Joe Pool Mountain Lake, out there in Mansfield and other just affluent subdivisions. I even bought some land out in Eagle Mountain Lake. And I like for us to show you guys my first subdivision. I was actually in my young 20s, and it was I'm standing in front of a house, and that was in the Savvy magazine, and they were showcasing me in that subdivision. And the reason being is because that home that I was standing in front of was showcased at Parade of Homes, where it's a big event that they have every year, and people go around showcasing different builder styles and the uniqueness of their styles. And I was, my first subdivision, I was in my 20s, and there was 75 lots, and I built about 50 of them, and I had my own model home and everything. And that's right before the mortgage crashed. And so I evolved from doing my own subdivision, and then also just started buying lots just all over. And then I also had a 65-unit duplex complex project in Fort Worth that consists of several duplexes in different phases. So I've had multifamily experience, and it's just been a real good experience. And I love to help people like Brooklyn. And Brooklyn, what advice would you give to those getting started or want to get started?
Just in building or real estate in general?
Building and in real estate in general, both.
Okay, just real estate in general, I just would say find you a marketing method, whether that's cold calling, texting, direct mail, ads, whatever you want to do, and stick with it, whatever works for you, and generate those leads, get those deals, stack some cash. And then I would say, as far as building, once you have that cash or access to cash, I would definitely always say find you a mentor, somebody that can walk you through everything. Even if you just want to flip land or houses, I'd always say find a mentor that is legit, can show you the settlement statements that they really close. And as far as building, have somebody that can show you that they actually build, and really walk you through everything so that you can learn from them and be just as successful as they are.
Thank you for that. Yes, and if you stay tuned, every week we are going to be on Fishbowl Radio Network from 11 o'clock to 11:50 every Tuesday of every week. So basically we're going to play another song, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned for more. You are Building with Stacie.
I'll be the last one standing, 2 hands in the air, I'm a champion. You'll be looking up at me when it's over. I live for the battle, I'm a soldier. Yeah, I'm a fighter like Rocky. Put your flag on your back like Ali. Yeah, I'm the greatest, I'm stronger. Bet my dues can't to see my name in lights. I am invincible, unbreakable, unstoppable, unshakable. They knock me down, I get up again. I am the champion. You're gonna know my name. You can't hurt me now. I can't feel the pain. I was made for this. Yeah, I was born to win. I am the champion.
Born champion. The C is for the courage I possess through the drama. H is for the hurt, but it's all for the honor. A is for my attitude, working through the patience. Money comes and goes, so the M is for motivation. Gotta stay consistent, the P is to persevere. The I is for integrity, innovative career. The O is optimistic, open and never shut. And the N is necessary, cause I'm never giving up. See, they ask me how I did it, I just did it from the heart. Crushing the competition, been doing it from the start. They say that every champion is all about his principles. Carry.
I am invincible, unbreakable, unstoppable, unshakable. They knock me down, I get up again. I am the champion. You're gonna know my name. You can't hurt me now. I can't feel the pain. I was made for this. Yeah, I was born to win. I am the champion.
Yeah. Surpassed all rivals. It's all about who wants it the most. Fight for what we believe in. That's what champions are made of.
Yes, you are back with Build with Stacie, and we're going to wrap this show up with our special guest, Miss Brooklyn. And Miss Brooklyn, do you have any last things you want to say?
Actually, I have some questions for you.
Yes, ma'am.
So, I really want to know, like, what got you started into building? What made you want to start building?
Well, I started, my background, believe it or not, is in finance and accounting, and it was just really boring. And I was working for the company called Books for Dummies at the time. You know, they build this for dummies, that for dummies. And so I was doing accounting for them, and just didn't really like it, was unhappy. And so I stumbled upon an investor just out at the actually at the post office when I was mailing someone some notices, and him and his wife he was a realtor and she was a mortgage broker, and he was a real estate broker and an active investor. And I was actually evicting someone at the time who I just had an investment property, just because, and not because I was an investor or knew anything about it. I just happened to inherit a property, and I had a tenant, and they had ended up filing bankruptcy on me, and so I was trying to get them out and evict them. And so, long story short, they helped me with that whole process. They took to me and they started teaching me how to invest in real estate, and I went and learned also how to do mortgages. So they gave me the opportunity to write my own paper and do my own loans, and also, buy and fund my own properties by way of them educating me, just like I'm educating you. So they were my mentors. And so I did that for a couple of years in Maryland. I grew up in Maryland, D.C., Virginia area. So I just started rehabbing and flipping all over there. And then when I came to Texas in 2000 and I relocated because I had gotten married, I bought our first property, land, that was going to be our home at the time. And I started building English language from the ground up and just loved it. And so once I built my first property, I ended up going through a divorce, so I ended up selling it. And then at that point, I just loved it. I fell in love with it. I was so involved in the real estate already, and I was so successful in flipping properties, so I decided to just start doing that full time. I was also a mortgage broker here in Texas. I had opened up a mortgage branch, and I decided to not do both. It was just overwhelming, so I just closed my mortgage branch. It was called Benchmark Mortgage at the time. I closed shop with Benchmark Mortgage, and I started to do real estate in terms of building full time, and I just fell in love with it. And this is where I am. I've been doing it ever since.
Okay, and how much would you say was your biggest project? Like, how much did you make on it?
My best investment was in that subdivision. When I built all those homes right there probably made me about $1 million or more, and that was only up to 50. But when the market crashed, of course, I lost all that and lost every bit of it. So, I always want to tell people and my students, when you're going to get into this business, get into it, but get into it to also diversify your portfolio. So if anything happens in the real estate, yes, you may have a portfolio of active building and selling properties, but then you could also have a portfolio of income producing properties where you have rentals, so that you're not stuck in that, in that rut. If you were to, if the bubble was to pop and you have construction dollars on the ground and you don't have anything to support it, and you have all your eggs in one basket, you could literally lose everything. And that's a mistake that I made years ago, and I'm never going to do that again. So I believe in diversification of your portfolio, if you would, when you're dibbling in real estate. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, that's really my 2 questions that I had for you.
Thank you, Ms. Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Yeah, so stay tuned here. We're going to have this podcast every week on Fishbowl Radio Network every Tuesday at 11. Next week, we're going to have another special guest, and this guest is going to be someone that has made over $50 million in sales. So a lot of money makers, money movers are going to be here on the show. Like Ms. Brooklyn, she's making 6 figures already, and she's just a young adult getting started, and she's going to be looking forward to making even more than that, teaming up with myself and my team here, aspiring to become a builder. And so, yeah, stay tuned for next week. And if you go on to my Facebook page, it's Built with Stacie, my fan page. Just stay tuned. If you have any questions, post them there. We'll make sure to give you shout outs and answer any questions that you have on our next shows. So stay tuned for next week. And if you listen in, you get a free chance to win a free book. You are here, Built with Stacie. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Brooklyn.
No problem.